Hello, hi, and welcome. So, I've come to a realization. I've just realized that I cannot review every book I've read every week, but I sort of want to talk about a couple of them. So, I've decided to do a little breakdown of the ones I'm not planning to do a full length on, and I'll be doing them in pairs. So here's the first two for the week of January. So firstly, Batman and the Signal from Scott Snyder, Tony Patrick, and Kelly Hammer. Giving it a 7.5, 7.5, 70.5, dear lord, 7.5 out of 10. It feels a high school superhero niche that the recent Blue Beetle Rebirth comics failed to do, and the art is great, it really hooks you in the first page. The book is about Duke, a black kid who's been hanging out with Batman recently. People have been afraid that he's going to be another characterless diversity character. And honestly, he doesn't have enough character to be interesting by himself. That's why it's good that in this book, he does have a large supporting cast. And a lot of people he could, bounce off from when it comes to dialogue. The problem with many diverse characters nowadays is that everyone seems to think they're great. And that is true for Duke, to a certain extent. I mean, Batman loves this kid, but the virtue of this book is that Duke himself doesn't think he's that great, and he isn't too sure of himself, and that becomes his internal conflict, making this book a good read regardless of him not being too interesting of a guy. There's a lot of people of color in this book, and the most white people you see are in the table with the Bat family and that one panel. And it's a bit odd, but you won't notice it unless you're looking for it. So I guess I'm gonna give it a pat in the back for that. But still, it weirdly feels a lot like San Francisco or California or some other city, but it doesn't really feel like Gotham anymore. It could just be perhaps I'm not used to seeing Gotham at by daylight. But So, yes, usually I get confused when I see two Asians in a book. I am Asian myself, by the way. So my complaint is that mostly people draw Asians very similarly in the face. And I'm glad I didn't have the problem with this comic. It really shows that the artist pays attention to detail. Nice. So it was very interesting how Snyder uses the fact that Duke has so many others that came before him. There is Damien, sorry. There's Damien, there's Dick, there is Jason, Todd, and so on and so forth. This detail and Duke's awareness of this detail is what the author uses to allow Duke to assess his world and his situation. It's a very interesting touch. I hate his costume though. He's literally wearing a bat symbol on his face. I don't know, I'm pretty sure that's a fashion faux pas or something. So my overall personal sentiments are that I really like this book. I think Duke is a very good looking feller, so you see where my bias starts. But this is also the kind of book where a young person tries to make it big in the superhero deal, trying to fight crime. It reminds me a lot of, again, Blue Beetle. And I'm just saying Blue Beetle because I really missed the old Blue Beetle prior to the New 52. And so this thing fits really nicely snug in that hole it left. And because of that, I really can't believe it's a 2 out of 3 because unless he stops being a superhero after this miniseries, I would be highly interested in knowing what he does later on. Next up is Batman White Knight number 4 by Sean Gordon Murphy. Guys, this book is a 10 out of 10. This is one Omega level book. This is history in the making. I'm happy to be alive. I'm happy to be an adult reading this book, witnessing this book as it transpires and unfolds. Okay, that might be overacting a bit, but again, this book is Omega level. 10 out of 10. So, Sean Gordon Murphy. His art is absolutely wonderful. It's cartoony enough for the Batman the Animated Series-esque world the story takes place in, and sketchy and rough enough to accommodate for the darker themes and parts of the story. I think Murphy actually has some sort of a favorite-ish panel structure, a panel structure that he prefers and likes, and it would be the big panel, smaller panels, and big panel, or panels. It helps very well to show quick moments, tiny little things people do, and then place importance on the larger ones. He also uses long vertical panels for montages to show different events occurring during a large space of time. It helps create a cinematic view of time. It's almost like when you watch a movie and there's a bunch of clips going in a sequence because of the uniformity that it creates. So the use of color is also fantastic. It helps establish the mood and the feels and even the contrasts. So here's one. So the cool color of the present and the warm sepia of the past create a distinction not just of the different time periods, but also emphasizes Marianne's sadness in the present in comparison to the past. The story in itself is wonderful. I don't want to tell you guys everything or all about it, but in this comic we learn to love Harley number 2. So read Batman White Knight. You gotta read it. So, anyway, the video I'm gonna make, the full-length review analysis thing on, is gonna be Batman number 38. I really like this issue of Batman, so I have a lot of things I gotta say about it. It's really interesting and really nice, and it features Tom King's very first supervillain. And great, it's amazing. So, thank you for watching. And again, I haven't been doing these videos for very long, so there are a bunch of things I don't know if I'm doing correctly, and if it's obvious or not. I've done something different in this video. Thank you very much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. I'd love it if you'd tell me if I'm moving in the right direction or if I should move backwards. Thanks, bye, and meow.